Hello, and welcome back to In the Kitchen with Matt. I am your host, Matt Taylor. Today, I'm going to show you how to make an apple tart, more specifically, a puff pastry apple tart. I had a request to make an apple tart, and since I already have a video on a fruit tart that uses a shortbread cookie base, I decided to do something different and use a puff pastry base. It's really easy to do, simple ingredients. If I can do it, you can do it. Let's get started. First, we're going to go ahead and prep our apples. I'm going to start with 2 apples, and depending on how many you want, you could go three apples. So we're just going to have an apple. I'm using Granny Smith, and once you've washed it and dried it, we're going to go ahead and peel it and cut out the core. So if you have a apple peel core, then go ahead and use that. Let's go ahead and just peel our apples. Okay, and then just cut it in half. And then in quarters. Then you want to cut out the middle part. And then with this piece, you're just going to go ahead and cut about a 1/16 or 1/8 of an inch thick. See that? This part doesn't have to be exact. So let's go ahead and do that with all the apples. All right, that's ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and set these apples aside. Now I'm taking a baking sheet and I just lined it with a silicone baking mat, or you could use a parchment paper. Now, take your puff pastry. I just bought my puff pastry at Walmart. Most supermarkets will sell it. And a lot of times they will come with their own parchment paper as well. Like this came with its own parchment paper. So I'm just gonna unroll it. And take it off. All right, there we go. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our knife and we want to just score a little bit, about 1/2 inch square around this whole thing. Don't wanna cut all the way through. And if you wanna get really fancy, you could use like a ruler or whatever, so you get a nice straight line. I'm not too concerned about that. And this is going to allow the pastry to puff up around the middle. All right, we got that scored, and it also gives us a guide where to lay our apples. So now we just start with an apple chunk like this. And we're just going to start laying them down. And I like to do it so they overlap almost halfway. All right, so then just complete the other line. So this is gonna be 3 lines of apples. And now what we do is we're gonna take our granulated sugar and we're gonna go ahead and just dust the top of these with our sugar. And you could add like a teaspoon of cinnamon to this too, if you like. And I'll put the amounts for these down below in the description. But we're really not measuring anything, so it really doesn't matter about the amounts too much. And if you want this to be more healthy, you could leave the sugar off. Now we're gonna take some butter, and I'm just gonna cut it up into little cubes and dot the top of this with butter cubes. So little pieces of butter like this. And then do the rest. And now what you can do is if you want a really nice golden finish to your puff pastry, you can take some egg wash and go ahead and go around the edges. I'm not going to do that this time. Now we go ahead and put this in the oven, bake it at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 25 minutes. After 25 minutes, let's go ahead and take our tart out of the oven. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my honey and I'm going to heat it up in the microwave for about 15 seconds just so it can be nice and liquidy for me. Take my honey, a couple tablespoons, and I'm just going to drizzle it on top. Or baste it on top. This step is optional. You do not have to use honey if you don't want to. You could use like a jelly that you melt or a marmalade or something like that. All right, now let's put it back in the oven and let it bake for another 5 to 10 minutes. And when your puff pastry apple tart comes out of the oven, it'll look something like this. Now go ahead and let it cool for about 10 minutes before we cut into it. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna transfer this over to my cutting board. And I'm just gonna pick up the silicone baking mat like this, and then just go underneath it with my spatulas here. Put it down like that. So awesome. And then what I am gonna do, this is totally optional, is I'm gonna come in here with powdered sugar and just sprinkle the tops with some powdered sugar. Yummy! There we go, an awesome apple tart. And then when you want to serve it, you can just come in here with your pizza roller. Like that. And then it's up to you how big you want to do them. I usually just use my apples as a guide. And there you go. Nice little apple tart slice. All right, our puff pastry apple tart is done. It turned out amazing. Really easy to do, simple ingredients. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm Matt Taylor. This has been another episode of In the Kitchen with Matt. Thank you for joining me. As always, if you have any questions or comments, put them down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thumbs up, down in the corner, push it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos. Take care. Time for me to dive into a slice. Oh yeah, I'm gonna grab this guy right here.